Good morning, Kipsters. We're going to start a new series of stories all about dinosaurs. This week's story is called Boy, Were We Wrong About Dinosaurs. It's a nonfiction text that's going to give us a lot of true facts about dinosaurs. The big picture questions that we're going to be thinking about while we read today are going to be determining what is true about dinosaurs based on the details from the text and the illustrations. And we're going to also make sure that we're gisting. I know it's been a while since we've gisted, but remember, a gist is a short summary of each page when you think about the noun, the event, and the location. These are some vocabulary words I want to go over with you before we get started. The word wise means having an understanding of what is true and right. The word ancient means something that is very, very old. A fossil is the remains or impressions of a prehistoric organism. And clumsily means awkwardly without physical grace or control. Long, long ago, before people knew anything about dinosaurs, giant bones were found in China. Wise men who saw the bones tried to guess what sort of enormous animal they could have come from. So if I'm gisting this, I would say that the giant bones were found in China. After they studied the fossil bones, the ancient Chinese decided that they came from dragons. They thought these dragons must have been magic dragons to be so large. And they believed that dragons could still be alive. Boy, were they wrong. So if I'm thinking about the page on the left, my gist would be that they believed the fossils were dragons. No one knows exactly what dinosaurs looked like. All that is left of them are fossil bones and a few other clues. Now we think many of our own past guesses about dinosaurs were just as wrong as those of the ancient Chinese. My gist for the page on the right is that fossils are clues that help us understand about dinosaurs. So if I stop and think about what we've read so far, I want to think about what is fact, meaning what is true, and what is fiction, which meaning untrue. So the facts that we know so far are that we have found fossil bones and other clues that give us information about dinosaurs. What is fiction or not true is that the ancient Chinese thought the bones were magical dragons. Some of our mistakes were little ones. When the first fossil bones of Iguanodon were found, one was shaped like a rhino's horn. Scientists guessed that strange bone fit like a spike on Iguanodon's nose. Boy, were they wrong about Iguanodon. When a full set of fossil bones were found later, there were two pointed bones. They were part of Iguanodon's hands, not its nose. So how did people's ideas about dinosaurs change from what we've read so far? We know that people's ideas have changed because they thought that they were dragons initially, but we know they were not dragons. They were actually dinosaur bones that they had found. We also know that people had thought the bones went on different parts of the dinosaur, like the Iguanodon. They thought that one bone was actually part of its nose, when in reality it was part of its hands. Other new clues show us that we may have been wrong about every kind of dinosaur. Some of our first drawings of dinosaurs showed them with their elbows and their knees pointing out to the side, like a lizard's, with legs like that. Big dinosaurs could only waddle clumsily on all fours or float underwater. So if I'm gisting the page on the left, I would say that they thought dinosaurs moved like lizards. Now we know their legs were straight under them like a horse's. Dinosaurs were not clumsy. The sizes and shapes of their leg bones seem to show that some were as fast and graceful as deer. So if I'm just in the page on the right, I would say dinosaurs have straight legs like a horse. Paintings and old books show dinosaurs dragging their tails in the dirt because a few fossils of tail drags were found, and scientists couldn't imagine how muscles could hold up their enormous tails. So if I'm gisting the page on the left, I would say that they thought that dinosaurs dragged their heavy tails. Thousands of fossil footprints have now been found with no tail drag marks at all. Clues in some dinosaur fossils show that their tailbones had stiff tendons inside to help hold them out straight, with their heavy tails to provide balance. Many dinosaurs, even giant Apatosaurus, could probably stand on their hind legs, reaching leaves in the tallest trees. Others, like the Tyrannosaurus, always walked on two legs. So if I'm just in the page on the right, I know that their tails were actually held up by muscles and tendons. So now we want to think about what the facts were that we read and what was fiction. We know that ancient Chinese thought originally the bones came from magical dragons, when in reality the fact was that they came from dinosaurs. We know that originally that they were wrong about where certain bones went in dinosaurs, like the Iguanodon. They thought the one bone went in its nose, but the fact was there were actually two bones that went in their hands. They thought that dinosaurs moved like lizards, when the fact is that dinosaurs actually had straight legs like horses. We know that they thought that dinosaurs dragged their tails, but actually, with more research, they found the fact was that dinosaurs actually had muscles and tendons that held up their tails. So join us tomorrow so we can continue to learn more facts about dinosaurs.